Hey guys, what's up? Anybody that follows the police, follows the police unions, follows the government, follows the corruption, if you want to call it corruptions, that occur within the government. If you follow that, you know that one of their main forms, their main areas that they receive funding from is citations, low-level citations, such as tags out of date. Oh, I don't know, not having a driver's license, which they pursued aggressively because it's a never-ending cycle. If you're poor, you get enough tickets. You can't pay the tickets, which means that you go to jail. You get out, which means that you can't work. You get out. You've got to drive because our society is designed around cars. Well, you're going to get arrested again. It's a never-ending cycle and difficult to get out of. Could it be possible that it's ending? Could it be possible that there could be a change? I don't know. Let's take a look at this. Now, I'm going to tell you, those that believe in our rights, believe in police accountability, this is really a good thing coming out of Portland. And as you know, Portland's one of the blue states. They're doing the typical surround. You want to surround your enemy and then move in. That cuts them off. This is why they try so hard for Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and Texas. That's why they try so hard to get those states to turn blue. That creates an island within the center of the country. Now, whether you want it to become liberal or blue or not, is irrelevant. This is what's happening. Now, one of the things, though, that I'm going to tell you that I'm really for is police accountability. Although, again, this concerns me. What is this telling me? That the Portland Police Department are going to stop doing low-level arrests, low-level searches, low-level stops. What does that tell us? It tells us that they have another form of income. I don't know. Could it be the grants that they receive from the federal government? Is this telling us that it's going to continue to do so? Also, the fact that with the legalization of marijuana, it becomes a little more difficult or a little bit less profitable to search vehicles. So Portland police limit traffic stops, and this is what they're saying the reason is, and searches in pursuit of racial equality. Police in Portland, Oregon's largest city, are being advised to no longer pursue low-level traffic infractions, including expired plates and broken headlights, unless related to an immediate safety threat, which is the way that it should be. Just because a law is on the books means that it's available, not that it has to be applied at all times. This is why I advocate for a little bit more police discretion. An officer should have the discretion to take a look at the totality of the situation and base what he's going to do on that. But the way that the police departments are set up now is that they have no choice. They have to follow policy. Policy says that I have to do this, this, and this. I already called it in. It's on the record. I got to give you the ticket. Well, now, whether or not that's true or not, because we do know that there's this thing called performance reviews. It's not a quota. They don't have quotas. Okay, they'll tell you, we don't do quotas. Quotas are illegal. But performance reviews aren't, and those are based on the quality of the tickets that you give out, quality of arrest, etc. Because the higher the quality, of course, the more valuable you are, which improves your performance. Anyways, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler and Police Chief Chuck Lavelle announced on Tuesday, according to the changes in the Portland Police Bureau protocols, officers will no longer prioritize. I knew I could do it. Prioritize making traffic stops for the enforcement of low-level threats. Now, why is that a threat? If I don't have tags on my vehicle, how is that a threat? Well, police, militarized. Also, officers will follow new consent search protocols. This I really like. That would help ensure residents are aware of their Fourth Amendment rights. If police do stop a driver, they must receive recorded consent before searching the vehicle and clearly inform the person they have the right to refuse. Kind of like your Miranda rights. I would love to see that go national. I really would. The abuse that people take for being illegally searched is reprehensible. Now, Police Chief Lovell has instructed his officers to not pull citizens over for less serious, non-moving violations, and instead focus on those who are making the road unsafe for others, which is the way it's supposed to be. Anyways, including anyone driving under the influence and reckless driving. I don't want to overpromise the results on the disparities because I'm not sure what those will be. What are you talking about? Said Lovell. What I think what's important here is that we're willing to try this. We're willing to ask officers to do it and look at the data and see if it's having an impact on safety, if it's having an impact on disparities, and then making appropriate judgments from there. All right, look, here's what's up, man. That's what's going on. Defund the police. Remember, they're not making as much money as they used to, which means they're going to have to reduce the size of the police departments, which also means this. If they don't prioritize more severe events, crime is going to continue to go up. In most all of the blue cities, crime is sky high at the moment. And yet, they're resistant towards doing what they're doing here, having the police do their job and keep, I'm not going to even say keep people safe because that's not really their job. In fact, there's even an issue as to whether or not the police are constitutional. But the point of the matter is this, is to prioritize criminals and crime rather than giving out infractions. Now, look, they even admit it. Lovell said that these changes, specifically regarding violations, will improve the rate of traffic fatalities, along with the city's ability to police equitably. You know what equitably is, right? Remember, if you take a look at communist countries, they talk about how communism is a sharing to where everybody is equal. Everybody has the same thing. Well, unless you're part of the government, then you get it all. But anyways, that's the whole point. So in America, we can't say that because Americans are against communism. We've been fighting it for years. Russia, communist Russia, bad, no good. So we don't have that terminology of communism, meaning sharing, everybody being equal. We have equity, which means that everybody's equal. But you see, it's all about the words, okay? Think about it that way. So it's not the same thing because it's equity. So they got some fascinating data here. Lovell said that these changes, specifically regarding violations, will improve the rate of traffic fatalities along with the city's ability to police equitably. According to the Portland Bureau of Transportation, PBOT, the city has seen a 47% increase in traffic deaths in 2021 compared to the same time in 2020, an increase from 17 deaths to 25. Now, part of that is a reduction in the police force, but okay, directing officers to focus on only pulling over people for violations that threaten safety will free up officers' time to prioritize driving issues that could turn fatal. I agree with that. If somebody's doing 175 miles an hour down a residential road, that needs to be stopped. You know, again, I'm not against police per se, people. I'm against using the police as a cash cow, you know, policing for profit. And this is taking a step in that direction of reducing that policing for profit. If you're going to have police, this is what they actually should be doing. Well, I will say this, and you need to know it. They're right now, Portland's at its lowest staffing in over 150 years. It's like, you know, percent-wise. So we have cops, percentage of the population. Is that the lowest that it's been probably for 150 years? So they just don't have the people, which is not a bad thing. Not always. Till our next videos.